What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Sneaker Homegirls podcast. I'm Rossetti Gutierrez-Uy.
And I am Maria DiMaggio Hickman. We're two Las Vegas realtors blending real estate, hustle, and sneaker culture all in one place.
If you're into real estate, entrepreneurship, and making big moves, then you're in the right spot.
We're breaking down market trends, sharing behind-the-scenes stories, and giving you game on how to build wealth through real estate.
And of course, we're talking sneakers, culture, and how we stay fresh while handling business.
So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. This is the Sneaker Homegirls podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Sneaker Homegirls.
I am Maria, and we are here to talk all things real estate in Vegas. We're so happy you're here with us.
Hello.
Hello. We got a really great show planned today, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. So tune in if you are somebody who's been on the fence about getting your pre-approval for a mortgage or just thinking about buying. You want to tune in today because we're going to give you all the dirt and all the deets on what you need to do. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good.
Yeah.
I actually took time to relax.
You did not relax. You were like a socialite all weekend at parties. Stop the nonsense.
Sunday.
Okay.
Let me just say Sundays. I haven't gotten Sundays back in a long time because how real estate works and life. So I did check out a little bit on Sunday.
Well, that's good.
So when I say relax, it's for one day.
Yeah, like 3 hours.
3 hours,
relax.
Yeah. I definitely drove 500 miles last week.
Oh my gosh. That's nuts. Well, I'm glad that you got that little bit of time.
Yes. So that was good. How's your weekend?
It was good. I had girlfriends come in town and we went to the Post Malone concert. We got a hotel and did a whole like girls weekend. So I'm dragging. I probably have huge bags under my eyes at this moment, but it was fun and always worth it to see them. We always have a good time together. So
you look great.
Thank you.
Post Malone was very good live, I've heard.
Yeah.
And I was living through everybody's stories.
Yeah, there were so many people that I knew there. I couldn't believe it. But you know what? There was something wrong with the audio. I don't know what it was because when he was talking, you couldn't really understand anything he was saying. And then like the songs that he was singing that I didn't know, I couldn't understand the words. So I hope that they get that fixed because that was kind of a bummer. It wasn't like crystal clear, but the concert was very entertaining and Jelly Roll was there and I love him and got to see him perform. So it was good. We had a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Jelly Roll was a big deal for him to come out and perform because a lot of people haven't seen him before. I don't think in the city.
Yeah, he was good. He sang really good and his performance was good. It was all around. It was a good night. We had fun.
That's what I love about Vegas. You're like, oh, Post Malone's in town.
I know. Like every
what?
night there's something to do.
It's fine. Next week.
All right, well, let's move on because we have good info that we want to get through. So one of the things that Rossetti and I are very big on is educating our clients. And we realize that there's so many of you out there that are not our clients or haven't even like gotten connected to a lender or a realtor. And some of you might even be a little intimidated to get pre-approved. And so what we wanted to do was kind of go through all the pre-things that you need to do to take the anxiety away, to take the nervousness away, and just wanted to get you started. So I'm going to kind of talk on the loan side. Rossetti's going to talk on the real estate side. And I know that a lot of people, it's just our human nature. We don't want to be rejected. And I think a lot of people avoid going and getting pre-approved because they don't want to hear that no, denied. And I will tell you with good lenders, you'll probably never hear those words. If it's something that can't work at the moment, what we typically do on our team is we'll just tell you, here's what you need to do to get ready. But we don't actually formally deny people because where there's a will, there's a way. There's something you can either fix or do. So some of the documents that you're going to want to have ready when you are thinking about getting pre-approved is you're going to have your most recent pay stubs, most recent bank statements, your W-2s, your photo IDs. Those are kind of like the very basic things that we as lenders need in order to start the pre-approval process. There's usually an application, but I will tell you that what we like to do is talk with you first. We kind of like get to know you, find out what your credit's like before we even think about pulling your credit. You can go on and find out what your credit score is, and it's usually pretty accurate. But we will have a conversation, 40-minute, conversation either via Zoom, in person, or on the phone, and get to know like what your wants and your needs are. And before we even have you fill out an application, we want to have that conversation. So don't be intimidated. It's not like you need a whole lot of stuff. We can do it even without seeing tax returns unless you're a 1099 or, a self-employed borrower. But just don't get intimidated. Really seek education. Find out all the things that go into being pre-approved. And once you are pre-approved, we will go over all the programs that you're pre-approved for. So we have down payment assistance. We have assistance with closing costs. A lot of times people think that they need a lot of money to get a house. And we've talked about it. Sometimes I feel like you need less to buy a house than you need to rent a house. So, just don't be afraid to reach out and get that conversation started. Now, and then we got you pre-approved. You're ready to go. And we send you over to your realtor. So what happens at that moment when you meet somebody who's been pre-approved? What does that look like?
So piggybacking on not being intimidated and really just educating yourself and staying in the loop of what's going on in your market, no matter where you are, locally, Las Vegas, or even outside of that area, meeting with the mortgage lender is first. A lot of the time, I think people think the realtor is the mortgage lender, just because, they've never bought a house before, or maybe they bought a house 10 years ago and they don't understand what that means. They're very intimidated to meet with a lender. So meeting with the lender is number one. When you are pre-approved, think of it as like a golden ticket. You're now pre-approved to purchase a property based on the conditions of the home. So what that looks like, what the disclosures are, that's a whole lengthy process. So what we'll do is if you're a seller, we'll meet in your home and we'll discuss 15, 20 minutes about what you're looking to do and see if it is an opportunity for us to help you get top dollar for your home. If you're a buyer, you can meet us in our office. We'll go over all the disclosures, what you're looking for in a home, what area you want to live in, what you do most of the day. Maybe the areas that you think you want to live in aren't as easy to commute, maybe to your workplace or to the grocery store. You find that these things are more important as you search, and really figuring out what your wants and your needs are. Maybe you want 4 bedrooms, but your price range is more of a 3 bedrooms with a den. Maybe that could work for you. So especially with Las Vegas getting so, let me rephrase that. Las Vegas having such low inventory, it's really important to figure out what you need. And if it's livable for you, right? Maybe the house needs some repairs and you're not sure if you can commit to the renovation cost in that. There are other ways you can explore those opportunities to do that. So what we're really going to do is find out what you like, what is a non-negotiable for you. I have some clients that are like, if it is tile floor, I am out, so it really just depends on what you value. And I think that the more homes you see, the more broad in your range is. So my biggest advice to buyers is start walking through Home Depot, start going to Lowe's and checking online for things, because these are the costs that will, be incurred later based on what the condition of the home is. And really be ready and fully qualified if you do walk into a home and you like it and you're ready to put an offer. Because I think the biggest challenge that I've seen working with buyers is the pre-approval, because it's, no one wants to feel rejected. No one wants to get no to a date, and then looking at homes and really figuring out if this is what you like or if it's not what you like. And if so, do you have enough money for it? So that's why it's important to meet with you first.
Absolutely. And really a good realtor, somebody who is going to take you on a positive journey and not have you running around crazy, really shouldn't even take you out without a pre-approval letter. And it's not because we're being, I don't know what you want to say, difficult, but if, let's just say it's a positive thing, you're looking at $350,000 homes and you could really purchase a $500,000, you've just wasted so much time looking at it. Or adversely, if you're looking at $500,000 homes, when you find out that you're only pre-approved for $350,000, you're not going to like anything that you see because you're so used to seeing the 500. So it's kind of like just making sure that when we're going out and when we're taking you, that we're looking at homes that you can get and that you're going to be most comfortable with. A lot of times people get approved for, $600,000-$700,000 homes, but they're not comfortable with the payment. And that's good. At least okay, this is where we want to be, and we'll only show you homes in that price range. I just think the stigma of getting pre-approved has got to get broken down. So many people are just like, oh, I'll never get I hear that in all of our workshops. We hear that all the time. Like, oh, I'll never get approved. I have bad credit, or I'll never get approved. I don't have any money. But we do it all the time with people with, not so great credit and people that don't have money. So just reach out and I don't know, take that leap of faith. Everybody needs to do it once in a while. It's scary. It's uncomfortable, but you're not going to grow unless you do it. And with the way the market conditions are now, there's just not a whole lot of inventory out there. So get out there and let's negotiate what we can for you. Yeah. Because I'm getting closing costs paid for by sellers on every contract that we're doing out there. So get out there and let's do it.
Let me tell you, it's not easy either.
No.
But I think in our market, we have sellers who are willing to look, right? Sometimes they're like, yeah, I'm not interested here. But, in our market, it is an offer on the table. This is what my client needs to go to the finish line. You're either open to it or you're not. And sometimes they're not.
Yeah, and that's fine. But we're good negotiators. We'll get it going. And I think I think too with rates, people still want to say they're high. I think rates are great right now, but you can use that to your advantage when negotiating and just saying, hey, look, we got to buy down the rate for our client, and it's already out there as rates are so high. So the seller's kind of like, oh, okay. So there's just ways that you got to phrase it, ways you got to do it, but we can get the deals done. So but yeah, first step, get out there, get pre-approved. And if you ever are told that you're denied, reach out to us because we'll help you figure out how you can get approved. We don't want to say that denial word. The D word.
The D word.
Don't say it.
Don't do it. What I think is a big scarcity is getting pre-approved and finding all the documents. And now that someone wants to qualify me for a home, which money isn't free. Okay. You want $500,000, you better show some documents. Okay. Can't just hey, walk into the bank. I need $500,000. You don't need anything from me.
No, we don't need to see anything.
It's fine. No. And the lending standards have changed. So it's actually a lot more difficult today than it was 30 years ago because money isn't free.
And there were so many scams. And I think, the lending companies got key to that. The stated income documents, the saying, oh, I make 300,000 and you make 50, those kind of things. We need proof now. But like I said, it really isn't as intimidating as people think it is. If you have your most recent pay stubs, your most recent bank statements, W-2s, photo IDs, that's all we need to get started. And then once we dig into that, then, if you have big bank deposits, let's talk about down payment, for instance, right now, because I just had this with a client in New York. So, it is our job to make sure that you're going to have enough for your down payment and your closing costs. That's one of the main reasons why we need to see your bank statements. I had a client that Kelsey was dealing with who we had seen their bank statements originally, and it was like pulling teeth to explain to them, okay, your cash to close is going to be about $25,000. We're only seeing $9,800 in your bank account. We need to see where I have it in this account. I have it in that account. Okay, but we have to see it. And turns out that the money was in a safe in their house. You can't use cash like that. Money has to be verified and it has to be seasoned for at least 2 months typically in your bank accounts. Had we known that when we started, we could have told them, okay, go deposit it, get it in the bank account, and then we just have to wait another month before you can start looking, because usually it takes an additional month to find a house. By then it would have been seasoned 2 months. But, you have to be honest and open with your mortgage lender. They're not there to judge you or tell you, your cash underneath your bed is, you must be a drug dealer. No, we don't care about that. What we care about is helping you get into a home. And we're going to tell you the ways that
we don't care about that.
No, you do you, buddy. I'm not trying to judge you. Yeah, I don't want to know for sure. But there are a lot of people who just don't trust the banking system or the government to know where all their money is. And they think they're doing a positive thing, keeping it in their safe or underneath their bed. But really, when it comes to your loan originator, you got to be honest so that we can kind of help you navigate those hurdles. before you go and get into a contract with a realtor who took you out without a pre-approval. And then we're all scrambling to try and get the deal done. So be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why it's very important to have a great mortgage lender, because as a realtor, when you are basing your client's needs on what the mortgage lender is communicating with them, what the clients aren't always educated about is that whatever happens between you and your mortgage lender is between you and your mortgage lender. I don't know anything. I don't know what's going on. I have a letter saying that you are qualified to buy this home, and I'm going to work off that.
Absolutely.
So, and sometimes in instances where they think like, oh, well, you guys work together, whatever, you can get money from whoever you want to get money from. Okay. I just need to see proof that it works. Okay. That you said they were going to give you money. And I think sometimes, going back to the denial part, they get offended. And it's like, you want to buy this for $1 million. Okay. $1 million. $1 million. I need to see at least a verification of something.
Yes.
And I'm not sure where the communication error is with consumers, that they don't know, like, that's just like a standard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't care what it says on there. You could block everything out on there. I just need something to work off of to make it easier.
Exactly.
Because newer agents, I think, work with clients that, maybe they aren't as educated in the process of what they need to be doing when they're working with buyers. And they're showing buyers many different things that are maybe outside of their price range.
Yeah, I think they're just so excited to finally get a client that they don't want to offend them, like you said, asking for a pre-approval. But in the end, you're wasting everybody's time. You could end up ruining that relationship with that client because you took them all over town and now nothing's going to happen. So I think it's, as agents, we have to be a little bit more strategic in what we're doing and making sure that we are asking for that pre-approval letter. And it's nothing to be offended by. We just need to know.
Based off of credit, income, and assets.
Yes.
Because that's not always on there. They'd be like, here you go. And I'd be like, oh, it doesn't say anything else. My lender's going to ask me about this.
Yes. Can you verify that you've seen they have enough money to close? Can you verify that they have the credit? Like, did you even pull credit? What's happening here? So,
and it's always a great time to buy a house.
Yes.
If it's a good deal, it's always a great time.
Absolutely. And everybody needs to do what's best for them, but just don't leave the house without a pre-approval. Be smart about it.
The only time I ever see things overpriced is when the client is in love and they're like, whatever. And I'm like, whoa, relax.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do anything to have
I know.
this
They're like,
house.
I feel like, be quiet. There's cameras in here. Oh my
I say that
gosh.
all the time.
I was working on a team once and we had a listing and the buyer's agent was through the home and they said, I'll pay $10,000 over this price. So we countered at that. And we got it.
I love it.
You wanted it. You said it. You played your cards.
Yeah.
There's a disclosure. There's cameras inside.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And
They were
don't
so
talk on the
happy.
front porch either, because those Ring doorbells will get you all the time.
They actually took a bunch of furniture and stuff too. They were so happy. It was way below their budget. So, I mean, everyone can win.
Yes.
Which I think sometimes in our industry, because there are so many uneducated consumers and realtors out there, it's not always translated that we're all just trying to give everyone what they want.
Absolutely.
And sometimes other clients have more cash. So
Yes.
you're a little stuck there, but as a seller, if you look on the other side, what would you do?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Like if you need this money to buy your new dream home and this other person needs funds, like that's a decision the seller has to make.
Yeah.
Not the realtors.
Isn't that funny how many realtors influence that too? Like, I don't know. Sometimes they're just so difficult. I feel like sometimes they step in the way of a transaction happening, which, that's one thing I know you and I do not. Like, we're here to win for our clients. Even if it means taking less, we make sure that our clients are the winners. And I don't know that everybody has that in there. So that goes back to interviewing your agents, finding out who you feel most comfortable with, looking at their reviews, making sure that they've done transactions and that they're educated in the space, because at the end, a realtor will have influence on you. I feel like we probably do with all of our clients. But if your realtor is there to make you win and make you happy, that's who's going to win in the end.
Yeah.
Is all those type of clients. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think in our industry, you want the shark as your seller's agent.
Yeah.
And I don't blame you for that. You should have a shark as your seller's agent to make you the most money in your pocket for your home.
Yeah.
You know, but be realistic. If it's got really ugly carpet, okay?
Or 20 cats.
Or 20 cats.
For real.
You know, the cats aren't that bad for me. It's the smell.
Yeah.
If I walk into a home and it smells, I'm like, oh my gosh, my clients are not going to like this.
Yes, because immediately you're thinking I got to rip up all
Unless
the
they're a
flooring.
flipper.
Yeah.
They like those.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I get texts every day like, are you still a realtor? And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I do too.
I started reporting them now, so don't text me. Thank you.
You're annoying.
Thank you.
We're really not going to find your house.
I appreciate the hustle. Great job, not me.
If we find a house that good of a deal, we're going to keep it for ourselves.
Yeah,
we're not
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which hopefully we can do by the end of the year.
Yes, that is the plan. That would be a whole fun segment to do on the flip. We'll
Absolutely.
have to do that. That would be fun. All right. So what has the market been doing?
All right.
What
Let's
are we
pull
doing?
up some market stats for this week.
I was listening. Overall, we're at the highest amount of homes for sale, right? This time this year than we were ever last year. So we've already beat that. So it means like sellers are getting excited to sell. People are not holding on to their homes, so which is good. But that's overall the whole country. So love to hear what's happening in Vegas. Anything good?
See the way the airport works? We're right above it.
Do you not have service?
I'm going to search right now.
So,
because I have to pull it up on desktop.
we had personally, I had a really busy week last week with getting offers. You too. We've got a lot of homes accepted on our team. I got to figure out the numbers just on our team. I feel
like it's 7.
Is it?
I think it's
lucky
7.
number 7.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
New listing. Ooh, we're breaking double digits. 1179 new listings in Las Vegas in the last 7 days. Ooh, ready?
Yep.
1131 price decreases.
Wow.
Ooh, we're breaking
That's a
numbers on
lot.
that. Okay. Under contract show, under contract no show, we're at about 7. I'm doing like quick math here. 750, I'd guess.
Okay.
344 plus 477.
Just in the last week.
Just in the last week, 206 withdrawn for your expired listings out there. I know you realtors that are calling expired listings. There's 206. Get on it.
Go.
We have about 95 coming soon. 15 contingent on sale. That went down.
Yep.
254 expired. And 819 sold. So probably like
819 sold. That went up because last week I think it was like 600.
It was 6.
Yeah.
I
So
wasn't
that's
going to say
good.
200. I wasn't sure if it was 200. At least 150.
Yeah. Yeah.
More.
That's good.
What do you think about that?
I mean, okay, the price decreases again. I'm seeing it, so I get it. I am seeing that. I don't know why it's happening. If it is because they were priced too high to begin with, or if it's a combination of just people are out there like they got to get going. This is the time where people are thinking about moving to a different place and they got to get their kids, finished up in school and then get ready to the new place to start summer there. Maybe there's a little anxiety if a house has been sitting for, 30 to 60 days. But I love that people are not giving up and we've got 1,100 new listings already this week. So
Heck yeah.
I think that's great. We need more homes on the market. I feel like it's such limited inventory when we take out our buyers. So I'm excited for that because I love to see new houses on the market.
We had our brunch and learn a couple weeks ago and someone asked, when's a good time to buy? And I said, let me ask you this. Do you want to move in the summer? No? Okay. So because that's the reality of what I think encourages our market in specific, because we may have 300 days of sunshine, but it's a solid 120 in July and August. So it really depends on like if you care about that. If you don't, are you in like Mexico during that time?
Right.
So it really just depends. But we do need more homes on the market because a lot of these people are trying to get moved in. If it's May now, you put an offer this week, you'll close first week of June. Yep. So not too hot.
Nope, not too bad yet.
Not too bad. So I think sometimes when you look at the timeline of how long it takes to purchase a property, most people think that it's a lengthy process. It's actually pretty fast.
It is, yeah.
And when
30
you
days.
do the pre-qualification and the meeting with your realtor, it makes it that much easier to make the decision when you're in escrow.
Right.
Compared to spending your escrow process, learning all these disclosures you didn't know about and getting your pre-qualification. And, that's why I think it's important to have a mortgage lender on your side no matter what.
Yeah.
Because maybe you're ready to buy your second home and you didn't know.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's time to refi because rates are crazy because you bought when it was 10%. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's always a good time. It just depends. But our market, I think we're seeing longer days on market.
Yeah. Does it say what the average is? I thought it was like 46, but I could be wrong. But I think too, we just got to remember that the more prepared you are, the better the experience is. I know like in the beginning, people don't like sending all the documents. It's overwhelming. They have to scan things and send, email them over or drop them off at your lenders. And it can be a lot of work in the beginning, but I will say the more upfront stuff you do, once you find the house and you have a contract, it's like so much more smoother sailing for the process than like being, 2 weeks in and needing this and then needing this. And it just gets very chaotic. And you want your home buying is stressful, right? Anytime you're moving, that is one of the top stresses that even causes divorce, like money, all of that. But if you can be prepared and it's not as stressful, then why not do it? So just everything up front just makes for an easier transaction.
One thing I've noticed, and maybe it's just because I am familiar, like I grew up in real estate, so maybe that's just my bias thing to that. But one trend I've noticed is that when you move here, as realtors, we can't tell you or advise you how to take title. That's on you, but what I've noticed is that some realtors don't like introduce them to people who they need to meet in the future, like a CPA you should meet with, like a mortgage professional you should meet with, like a contractor you should meet with, a designer you should meet with. Like I can only help you get a good deal on the house.
Right.
And get you some closing costs or get you top dollar if we have multiple offers. Like that's my job. And I think sometimes in our industry, consumers don't understand that they are all like, it's all about the connections, right? If you have someone that's guiding you, maybe you need a real estate attorney because you're too busy and you don't want to look at all the paperwork. That's a very key person that you can utilize during the process to make yourself feel better. Or you could do the work and meet with us, right? But we're not attorneys. We're not CPAs. So we can only advise you the condition of the home and get you a really good deal on it, or sell it for what it's worth.
Yeah. And that came up in our workshop. Somebody had asked about capital gains, and, I may know the answer because I've dealt with it personally, but I'm not going to give you the answer to the question. That's not my scope. And as lenders, as realtors, we have to stay within our scope because things change all the time. Like I could have given her advice on something that worked for me, and then the laws changed. And all of a sudden I just told her something that wasn't true. And she made a decision on what to do based on me. And I don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. So, we're not trying to be rude, not answering those type of questions for you. It's just not in our scope. We're not qualified to answer them. Knowing where you are and where you belong in your lane, I think is really important to do.
Yeah.
It helps our clients.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes, like from a consumer standpoint, we're all friends over here.
Yeah.
Like we ask other realtors for, help in our brokerage and other brokerages. Like we all help each other because if we're not qualified to know the answer, we're going to send you to someone that knows, because one, we are very competitive and we want to figure out the answer ourselves. And two, I want you to have all the data that you have the right to see. It's just up to you to decide.
Absolutely.
We can't do that.
Yep. We're a supportive role. We'll do all we can to help you.
We're like your cheerleader.
Yes.
Yes, with all the snacks.
And the negotiation skills.
Yes.
Love it. All right. So what else? Anything else that you've been seeing in the market as we wrap up?
I think one advice I'll give to sellers right now is that it's a good time to buy. So if you are a seller and you're not sure if now is the right time for you, it's helpful to meet with the mortgage lender first. Meet with the mortgage lender first. There's been so many horror stories I've heard of people I've met with that sell their house, go on market, get a buyer, and they weren't qualified. And that's
Terrible.
a tough that's a tough bridge to cross. So really just leaning in on your mortgage lender, if selling makes sense for you, if staying makes sense for you, because I'm in the same boat there, to figure out, how to navigate the market, right? We're here every day figuring out the best choice for us, the best choice for our clients. And sometimes it's not the time.
Right. And that's okay.
And that's fine.
Well, that's what we're here for. So reach out to us on Instagram. We're the Sneaker Homegirls. And on YouTube, we're the Sneaker Homegirls LV. Just reach out to us. We're always here to help answer questions. And we will see you next week.
Peace.
Peace out.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Sneaker Homegirls podcast.
We appreciate you for tapping in and rocking with us. Real estate, hustle, and sneakers. That's what we do.
If you got value from this episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you never miss an episode.
Also, follow us on Instagram at The Sneaker Homegirls for behind-the-scenes content, market updates, and of course, sneaker drops.
Let us know in the comments what topics you'd like us to cover next. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep hustling, stay fresh, and we'll catch you on the next episode.